Happy New Year, everybody. Welcome. I am doing a live from my new computer. So hopefully the picture looks a little bit more clear and the feed isn't as wonky. I'm super excited. Finally, about a month ago, I just decided I need a new computer. It's an investment that I need to make in my business because it was wreaking havoc and causing all sorts of problems in helping me move forward and hit my goals. And so it was really important to have that. So I'm really excited to go into the new year with that. My word this year, my intention this year is peace. And I've actually really been working on this several years. But this year it's really peace around technology and peace regardless of the circumstances, regardless of what is happening. I want to choose peace, right? So today we're going to be talking about your intention, setting your intention for the year. What does that look like, and how to achieve that intention? It's easy to set intentions. It's harder to actually achieve and follow through on that intention, whatever it is. So I'm going to give a few minutes for people to get on here. And I got to figure out kind of this new setup on this new computer. This is the first time I've gone live on this, but I can already tell it's just so much better than my other computer. I can't even believe it. I wish I would have done this a while ago, but it is what it is. Okay. So if you are joining me live, give me a hand raise, give me a shout out, tell me what you're drinking, what you're doing. Let me know that you're here. If you have a word for this year, put it in the comments. I would love to hear what it is. I just shared that mine is peace. I would love to know what yours is. Okay, I don't see. Bear with me for just a second, you guys. Okay. Um, so first of all, before I get into setting and achieving your intentions, this kind of goes hand in hand with that, but I'll just tell you, I took 2 weeks off. My husband took 10 days off for vacation. He always does between Christmas and New Year's. And so I actually had planned to work a little bit, knowing that he was going to be home. I was going to try and take advantage of getting a little bit of work done. But after I had just a couple of days of rest, I just decided I really wanted to be able to focus on my family and not be pulled toward work. Because as soon as I start thinking, I'm kind of like an all or none person. And I'm sure if you're an entrepreneur, you can relate to this too. But as soon as I start thinking about work, I can't shut it off. And so if I want to be really present with my family, I have to completely shut off work. I can't do anything, or it just pulls me right back into it. And then it's harder for me to be present with my family. And so I just decided not to do any work. I got my new computer. I did a little bit of setup on it, but that was it. And I haven't done anything since. And so with that being said, of taking 2 weeks off, going into the holidays, I had this momentum, and I was excited for the things that are launching this month. And I took those 10 days off, and then I just hit a wall. Come Monday, I just had no motivation. I had zero energy. I'm overcoming, the sugar hangover is what I like to call it, and all of that stuff, and just having a really hard time just getting back in the groove and getting myself motivated. And so fast forward to today, this morning, it was like hard for me to get out of bed. I just was like not feeling it. Uh, thinking like, what am I going to get on and even talk about in this live? Like, I don't even know what I'm going to talk about. I feel like I don't even have the energy or the motivation. Like, how am I going to inspire and encourage other people, right? But anytime I feel like that and I just don't have the motivation or the energy, I just start somewhere. So this morning it was just listening to I love to listen to the Joyce Meyer podcast in the morning when I'm getting ready, and that always like just triggers stuff in me and inspires stuff in me. And so listening to that, I did some yoga last night, same thing. I had a little bit of time to work and I wasn't feeling motivated. And so I just got on and I just started doing stuff. And then as soon as I start doing stuff, the motivation comes, right? So this goes hand in hand with setting and achieving that intention. And so for me, it really just comes down to like just doing something. It doesn't matter what it is, but I know if I start and I do something, I will start to have the motivation to do something else. Um, and so as moms, especially as mompreneurs, it's really easy to get sidetracked and off track. It's easy to, I think, let ourselves off the hook with excuses and things like that. But if you have a goal or an intention, bring yourself back to that. We're going to talk about that more. So if you are just not feeling the motivation or whatever it is, bring yourself back to your why. What are you doing and why are you doing it? So we're going to talk about 4 components to help you achieve your intention. So first of all, you have to have an intention for the year. And intentions are different than goals, right? I'm not a fan of like resolutions. I'm a fan of intentions and setting your intention for the year. And so for me, I set kind of a general intention. Like I said, my word for the year is peace. There's a reason that picking a word for the year works, and we're going to talk about that more. But I also like to have intentions in each area of my life. So for, my health and my fitness, for my family, for my finances, for my marriage, for each area of my life, I like to have a different intention. And so I don't know how you do that, but I would highly recommend having kind of a general intention and then also an intention for each area of your life, because every area is a little bit different, right? Um, but let's talk about like, why does choosing an intention for the year work, and how do you follow through on an intention, whether that's a goal or just like a general intention, right? So, peace is my word for the year, but I also have a goal and an intention to hit over 6 figures and to bring as many mompreneurs with me as possible and do it in a way where we can stay balanced and without hitting burnout. That is my intention for the year, is to hit over 6 figures and to bring other mompreneurs with me and to do it in a balanced way. That's my passion. That's the impact I want to make on the world this year. So how do I stay motivated when I get knocked down? What happens when I launch something and it fails, right? And I just want to give up, or you just want to give up? What happens when you are, you're putting this time and this effort and you feel like you're getting nowhere and you just want to give up? What if you're tired and you're exhausted and you don't know how to keep pushing on, right? So what does that look like? So I'm going to just teach you the 4, I think I've posted about this before, but I don't think I've ever done a live on it. Kind of the 4 things that I teach, whether it's around money mindset or it's around, the fruits of the spirit. So if you're not familiar with the fruits of the spirit, I think it's Galatians 5:7, that you can have love, joy, peace, patience, self-control. I'm probably missing one. There's 7. I think I listed 6. But anyway, what is it that you want, right? So whatever it is, for me, I want to have peace regardless of my circumstances. Okay? So whether there's chaos or a storm or whatever it is, I want to be the calm in the storm. Whether my kids are, being crazy and misbehaving, whether technology is being wonky, I want to be the calm in the storm. That's my intention for the year. So, number 1, you have to have a desire, and not just a desire, but like a burning desire for the thing that you want. So if I want peace, or I want more joy, or I want to be debt free, or I want to be financially free, whatever it is, you have to have a burning desire for that. And when you have that burning desire, when you hit those points of not feeling motivated, or, this morning I woke up and I was like, I just like have nothing in me to move forward. Coming back to that burning desire. Why is that a burning desire in you? Why do you want that in your life? Come back to that, because that is what's going to reignite you. That's what's going to motivate you. Okay. So second is you have to decide. And this is why picking a word for the year works. It's because you are making a conscious decision that you want that thing in your life no matter what, right? So you have to have the desire. and you have to make the decision to have it. So I like to talk about this. Can't remember if I talked about this before, but when it comes to the fruit of the spirits, when my kids were toddlers, it was one of the hardest times in my life. Like, hands down, so hard. I was like rock bottom. If I could describe a rock bottom, I had hit rock bottom. I had no joy. I had no peace. I was yelling at my kids all the time. I was like miserable being a stay-at-home mom. But I knew that God promised joy. And I knew that motherhood, there had to be more to motherhood, that it like, I just remember thinking, like, God, there has to be more to this than me being miserable and frustrated all the time and being mean to my kids. There has to be more to this. Like, you gave me this gift and I want to steward it well. And you promise that I can have joy and peace and love and kindness. You promise those things. So how do I get it? And I realized it was, I wanted it, but I didn't make the decision, right? Like, I was kind of studying it, but I hadn't really committed. Like, I want this no matter what. I'm going to go after it. And so you have to make the decision. You can't just set an intention and say, oh, I wish I could have more peace. I wish I could have 6 figures. I wish whatever, right? You can't just wish. You have to make the commitment. You have to make the decision that you want that thing in your life. So number 3, first you have the desire. You decide, this is happening, I'm doing this. Number 3 is you have to devise a plan of action, right? It's not just going to come out of thin air. You have to put in the work. If I just say, I want joy in my life, I can't just expect God's going to, shower joy down in my life. No, it's my actions, it's my thoughts that are going to bring that into my life. So you have to devise a plan of action. If I want to hit 6 figures, if you want to hit 6 figures, or whatever your income goal is, you have to have a plan of action to get there. It's not just going to come. I learned that the hard way when I started my business. I thought starting my business, like, build it and they will come, right? I mean, it's not that I didn't put work in. I put a lot of work in. But you have to have tangible steps to get there. What is going to get you from point A to point B, or point A to point Z? You have to have a plan of action. And number 4, and this is the most important step if you want to get there peacefully, if you want to get there with ease, right? And that is allowing God to direct your steps. And here's why. Because when we try to take things on ourselves, when we try to control everything, that is when stress and overwhelm comes into play, right? But when we put it out there, we say we want this thing, this intention, this goal, and then we say, God, help me get there. And you allow God to help you get there, right? So instead of trying to take it on all yourself and trying to figure out how you're going to do it, how you're going to make it happen, right? You have to put in the work. But there's a time when it comes to relying on God. And I talked about this when I talked about my Kickstarter campaign, that I was raising $10,000 in 45 days. And I'd finally gotten to a point where I was like, okay, there's nothing else I can do, right? It's when we try to do everything ourselves and we don't just release it and allow it, that's when the stress and the overwhelm starts to come in. So allow God to help you get to that goal or to that intention or whatever it is. Say that something, I'll give you an example. Say my computer crashes or something, right? Like I did a launch Thanksgiving weekend and my computer was a mess and it like messed everything up and it was super frustrating. But I had a choice to make. I could either allow it to deter me and I could just quit and not do it at all, or I could allow it to teach me something, right? And that teaching me something was like, I'm choosing peace in this, right? I'm going to choose peace moving forward because I don't want this to have control over my life anymore. So And also, when we allow God to direct our steps, we are not choosing to get somewhere just because we want to get there. We are listening, we're seeking wisdom, we're seeking God's knowledge. And how do we do that in a God honoring way? How do we do that in a way that honors our family? How do we do that in a way that honors ourselves? So, the 4 things that you need to achieve your intention or your goals for the year. It doesn't matter whether it's an intention, whether it's a goal, whatever you are chasing after, those are like the 4 main components you need. The desire, right? Having that burning desire is going to help you in that time, those times when you get knocked down. It's going to help get you back up. It's going to help you in those times where you're not motivated, because you can bring yourself back to, why do I have this desire, right? You have to decide that you are going to make it happen no matter what. So you are choosing, no matter what happens, to have that. And when you make that decision, right? When you make that decision to have whatever it is in your life, you are going to start to look at things differently. It's going to change your perspective about things. Devise a plan of action. Don't just willy-nilly it. You have to have a plan, right? I am not a great planner. It's one of my weaknesses. I'm not good at like planning out. So what do I need to have in place? Who do I need to have in place to support me in those goals, in having that plan of action, right? It's not always about you and what you can do. It's about looking at the big picture and who and what is going to help you get there. And then direct steps. Allow God to direct your steps. I didn't write down the verses that this goes with, but what is it? Like, a man has the desires of his heart, but God directs his steps. Can't remember what verse that is, and I know that's not like a perfect quote or anything. But knowing, what does God's word say? Right? What does God promise us? And how do we use that in our own life? So, those are the 4 things when it comes to setting your intention and achieving those intentions for the year. So, hope that helps. Comment below. Let me know what your intention is for the year. I will put up a goal post where you can set your goals for the year. I'd love to hear what goals you guys have, and just support you in that, and support one another in that. So Happy New Year. I wish you all the best in this upcoming year. If you're getting a slow start to your year like me, it's okay. Give yourself grace, but just start. Just do something, and the motivation will come. So cheers to 2021. Happy New Year.